Hey, everybody. I'm Kris Swiatocho, and I am with the Labor Day Singles Retreat and a bunch of other things. Welcome my guest, Missy Honeycutt.
Hey, y'all.
There's Missy, and let us know if you hear us, if we're coming through okay. I'm gonna scroll down to our Facebook page and see if we're coming through. There we are. Oh, there's Sherry. Hey, Sherry, it's good to see you. And if you'd do me a favor, Sherry, if you would, oh, there you are. Oh my goodness, looks like I've got those words on the bottom of the screens. What's that called, Missy? The closed captioning?
Yes.
Yeah, that just showed up now on our Facebook page. I have no idea, people. I have no clue. I just wash my hands. I just can't. I need a tech guy. Wouldn't it be great, Missy, to have a tech guy to work for me?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, everybody, what? Go ahead.
I said that would be wonderful. We didn't have to worry about it.
Oh my goodness. Of course, the problem is he'd have to be here at my house. He'd have to be at your house. I don't know how it could be both places, but anyway, we're going to let a few more people get on, and we're so thankful. This is Kris Swiatocho with Facebook Live, and I am with the Labor Day Singles Retreat and Kris Swiatocho Ministries and a few other things that I've put in the chat. But my special guest today is Missy Honeycutt, and I am so excited that you're here, Missy.
Thank you.
She just loves doing Facebook Live. It's her favorite thing, everybody. And she just can't wait to do it. She's like, Kris, please, as soon as possible, get me on Facebook Live, because it is like one of my favorite things to do. Not right, Missy?
Nope.
No. So now some of the Facebook Lives, guys, I pretty much teach the whole time. And today I am going to get a short message in, but today we're going to do things a little bit differently, because I think it's about that time that we really need to be telling you more about the retreat that's coming up Labor Day weekend. So I'm going to give you a real quick, a little bit of history in the background of Labor Day. So for like 35 years, the Labor Day retreat was held at Ridgecrest in Black Mountain. It was a Lifeway event. And like all singles ministry, right, Missy? In its heyday, there was a gazillion people and whatever, right? And it was wonderful, and it did its thing, and it had its time. So about 7 years ago or so, I guess it was around 7, I had an opportunity to take over the retreat and to make some changes. And, it definitely helps when you are single, right, Missy? To make the changes. And so I took it over with an incredible team of people, including Miss Missy and Pastor Freddie Johnson. And we took it over, and that first year we had 150 people come. And then the next year it grew to 200, the next year it grew to 250. And around that time, we really felt the Lord asking us to move it to a smaller campus, because we really wanted that intimacy where everybody there was with our group. And we needed a place that was also a little bit more accessible for some of our attendees.
Right.
And so that's kind of the history. And but I wanted Missy to kind of tell me how did she get connected to Labor Day? Because she was in it before. Well, I was in it 20 some years ago, but she was in it, I don't know how many years ago, and kind of a little bit of her background.
So I live in Greer, South Carolina. And I started attending the Labor Day retreat in 2010. And the second year that we were there, the leadership, it was under Lifeway, was still doing the retreat. And so Lifeway was still a part of it. And Morley Maynard came to me and asked me about participating, and if I would be on leadership that would help plan and help run the retreat for the weekend. And so I prayed about it, and I told her yes. And myself and Carrie Robinson, who is now married, met her husband at Labor Day, Larry. They were both serving. We are two of the ones that are left from that time, from 11 years ago. So I started serving, and then eventually Lifeway went away from doing conferences and retreats, and they decided they just wanted to be in the publication business. And at that point, Kris came in and took over, and she and Pastor Freddie started leading the retreat. And so I have been serving with the singles and with the Labor Day retreat now for it's been 10 years.
Oh yeah.
So that I've been on leadership in serving. So And I love it. I enjoy it. I love singles. That's my passion is single adults. They're not married, no matter what age they are, and just loving on people and being able to help them and getting them to retreat, making sure they got a place to lay their head down. They got a roommate if they want one. And I
Wait,
also,
well, hold that thought. We're going to talk a little bit more
Yeah.
about it in just a moment. Hold that thought because I want to go into a little bit more detail. First,
Yeah.
put in the chat if you know how long you've been coming to the Labor Day retreat, even before us, even when Ridgecrest, when Lifeway ran it. Put how many years, or even if you didn't come consecutively, how many years have you been coming? And do you have a great memory? Is there a particular memory that you had at Ridgecrest or at Bon Clarkin where we have it now that was special for you? And put that in the chat. Because I think for a lot of our new people that may be watching this, they're probably going to say, what's so special about that Labor Day retreat? Isn't it like any old retreat? Which the reality is not like any old retreat, is it, Missy?
Right, correct. Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about, and I'm afraid to move my cursor around and might lose where we are, but if somebody that is watching would put in the link for the LaborDaySingles.org, but I would like you to click on the schedule. If somebody would put that in the chat first, that would be great. But we want to just briefly go through the weekend. It gives you an idea of kind of what we're about. The website, LaborDaySingles.org, has everything we could possibly think of in there. Every year we learn, and every year we add, we edit, we change, we add things, we take away things, because we listen to you. We want the website to be as thorough as possible. And if there's something on there that's not answered, we have Missy. And that works that good. And by the way, her phone number and her email's at the bottom of every page. So you get a problem, you call Missy, right?
Yeah.
So let's just quickly kind of go through the weekend. So where do we start on Thursday, Missy?
We start with the registration. When people come up, they come to the conference center, they come through Bon Clarkin, they go to the YAB, which is actually, it's the youth activity building. It's actually the big, huge gymnasium down at the field with the lake and the soccer field and the swimming pool and everything. So you come in, you come in, you walk in, you're going to be greeted, you're going to be prayed over before you ever walk in the door. We're going to settle ourselves down and get our hearts, minds ready to hear the Lord for the weekend and what he wants us to receive. And then we will take care of you when you walk in. We'll get you your keys, we'll get you your meal tickets, we'll get you, make sure your room is ready for you. If you owe any money, hopefully you will not, because we want everybody paid out 4 weeks prior to coming. So we don't have to deal with that in the line, and you can get through so much quicker. So we do that, and you'll get your meal tickets and everything. You get a map to the area, you get a map to the conference center, and then you have the opportunity to, if you're volunteering, to check in with Carrie Robinson for that. Then also there are excursions and things that we'll be doing off campus. There's things on campus you can do. You can relax. You can go to the swimming pool. You can go to the lake. You can kayak.
Right.
You can just go spend time with the Lord and there's plenty of places to get away on campus.
Yeah, we're going to talk even more about that too in a second.
Yeah.
So on Thursday, everybody, we have a leaders portion.
Yep.
So some of you are pastors that may be watching this, maybe on staff, maybe a volunteer leader, or you're just curious, like, I'd like to start singles, or I serve at my church in singles, but I really could improve in an area. Come one day prior to the navigate portion. We have last year and the years prior, we have around 60 people that come with all different backgrounds and experiences with different specialties in singles ministry. And we basically, you come together, we have different tables that you'll sit at to learn more about a particular topic.
Right.
Then we have a group exercise, and then we have delicious snacks that my mother has been making for years that will blow you away. And then on Friday morning, we have breakfast together, and then we continue learning. We have a devotion, and then we have lunch on your own, but together. And the value of this leadership portion is beyond words, because I'll be honest with you, they're not doing leadership for singles ministry leaders anywhere in the country. Missy, how have you benefited from the leaders portion?
Well, it gives you tips, it gives you strategies to reach the singles that you're around daily. It gives you information to take back if your church does not have a singles ministry, if they do not even have a singles life group or Sunday school class or Bible study. It gives you the information that you need to go back and to tackle that. If that's your passion and you feel like, we've got to have this, we need to be reaching these people for Christ. And, guys, if we don't have healthy single adults and we're not ministering them from the time they leave high school and college, then we're going to be putting band-aids on marriages and relationships for the rest of our lives. So we have got to have healthy single adults, and you're going to get tools and ministry ideas and things that you need and contacts to be able to go to your pastor and go to your leadership in church and say, hey, this is all my desire and this is my heart. And I know that we need this at the church, and we don't have these things. So here's what I have to offer. And so you're able to go back to your church with something positive, even though you may feel it's a real bad negative that there's nobody there, that you're going to be able to go back and say, hey, I've got some solutions. Would you let me be a part of it? Can I help lead? And then I think, your pastor going to be, and leadership is going to be so much more willing to listen to you, because you're not just coming at them of like, oh, I don't have anything.
And what's cool about the Navigate and also the whole weekend, we really are sensitive to those that live within driving distance. So we have a per day rate that's really affordable. And so it allows, so if you say, well, I'm a pastor, but I can only come up for the Thursday night, or I can only come for the Friday morning, we make it to where you can come to both. And also the weekend, we've set it up to where it's $20 a day for those that live locally, or $60 for the weekend, because we really want you to come the whole weekend. But we know there are people that live in the area, and it's a lot cheaper to stay in your own home, but we do encourage you, if you can afford it, to come. So let's get into the weekend a little bit. So Friday afternoon, the leaders typically will stay on throughout the weekend. A lot of our leaders do. And then Friday night, they're going to get there. And like you said, they're going to get prayed over, which is one of the special areas that people really love, that when they get there, we really want to help them get ready to hear from God. And so as they get registration comes through, they can sign up for different excursions ahead of time, as well as that night, the different things that we do on Saturdays and Sunday. You're going to hear a message from Pastor Freddie and I, and you can go to the website and read a lot more about us and watch some videos of us and learn about how our style is of teaching. And then we'll have some fellowship time Friday night. And then Saturday morning, there are 2 breakfasts and 2 lunches included in the weekend. It's $44. And there's an optional breakfast on Monday morning. And then dinners are on your own. And the reason they are is because we want you to explore beautiful Hendersonville and Asheville and the mountains and the Apple Festival. We want you to take advantage of the local restaurants and support them, as well as having fellowship and get off the campus if that's what you want to do. And then on Saturday morning, again, we teach, we have table discussions. We have this cool thing called Lunch and Learn, which is also, we're adding Breakfast and Learn. Missy, tell them a little bit about that.
We will have different leaders that you can go to their tables and sit with them and eat. And there'll be different topics that you can choose from. It could be anything from things that I need to prepare for myself that you don't think about as a single adult, about who is your person to contact, if you had an emergency, just life things like that. It could be something as also about, how to have a prayer life. Where do I start? How to journal? What if I'm trying to reach singles, but I'm not reaching a certain age? So there'll be all kinds of different topics that you can choose from, and you can sit and talk with people that can give you some really good information related to what you're interested in during the breakfast times.
RK Praise is our worship. They're coming back, and we love RK Praise. And even they lead a table discussion that lets people talk to them about how do they get into the business, or maybe they want to get into being a singer for their church or worship. And Pastor Freddie always leads one, and usually it's on a topic of how do I get my pastor to understand that I'm in the congregation too. Pastor Jay George, a lot of times he'll do social media, and how do we get more out of our social media for our ministry? And I always do want to how to start one. And this past year, Michelle, she did one on, dealing with the struggles of singles in our churches and how do we minister to them. So every year we just wait for the Holy Spirit to tell us who would he like us to have lead these discussions. And they're limited to however many can fit at the table. So got to get there quick. But we do design that to be that extra thing without having to send you into a classroom. So that the Saturday afternoon and the Sunday afternoon, you're off doing fun things. What is some of the fun things that they've done in the past, Missy?
We have gone kayaking down the Broad River, which runs through the private Biltmore State Forest. We've gone tubing in the gorge. We have gone hiking in various state parks that are around. We have gone to the Apple Festival, which is in its 50-something year. It's a street festival. This area in the Southeast is the largest producer of apples on the East Coast. The only other one is going to be in Washington State. So there'll be all kinds of street vendors. There'll be live music that you can go and participate in. We have gone to the apple orchards and enjoyed those goodies, picked apples, tasted all the apple cider, the apple donuts,
And there's so
baked
many
apples,
things to
so
do.
much to do.
Oh
Just
my
like-
goodness. I mean, one year we did horseback riding. I know you can zip line, you can go down the river in a tube, or you can just sit on a rocking chair or sleep. There's literally, you cannot get to everything that we have for the weekend.
Right.
What we try to do is we get closer as people sign up. We find our leaders, because we don't want to plan an excursion and then have to look for a leader. We wait for God to bring those that are coming, and then we create the different excursions. And of course, you can always do things on your own. You can always do things with your church group. You don't have to actually sign up to do any excursion.
Right.
But the goal is that we don't want anybody alone coming to the retreat, because why be alone, single alone, when you can be single together?
Mhm.
And so then Saturday night, oh my goodness, we have been doing these for a while. We have our dance, and Tao with Upstate Singles, he comes, and this year's country western, but there'll be all kinds of different dance songs to different styles that you like. And we play Christian music as well as some clean secular music, but it's always a lot of fun. Definitely you can dress up if you want to. And this year we're changing things around a little bit, and we're doing our bonfire at the same time as our dance. They're literally side by side. And so you can sit out by the bonfire and relax and chill and roast a marshmallow till you can come over to the dance, and anything in between. And we just, Saturday night is always lots of fun.
Yeah.
And then Sunday morning, we get into our a time where we have our charity emphasis. And this year it's the Hendersonville Rescue Mission, and they'll get up and share about the needs. And we love people to bring things for our charity. We're asking for large cans of fruits and vegetables in a can, the big gigantic ones that you see at Walmart, that you bring those. And Kim Rich, I'll have on here in a few weeks. She is in charge of fundraising, and we'll be collecting those, as well as getting people to help donate to help offset some of the expenses, because we want everyone to come to the retreat. And if we can help you financially, we want to help you. I'm going to talk a little bit on Sunday morning. We also, Pastor Freddie will preach a sermon. We have lunch and learns, we have excursions, and the Sunday night is something special. But before I get to that, Missy, would you share a couple minutes or whatever about the hotel? And we would love for people to put in the chat 2 things. What hotel have you stayed at that you really enjoyed? And we're always learning things, and we're also making adjustments, but we have 3 beautiful hotels, and we have an older hotel that's been renovated, and she'll share a little bit about that. And then number 2 is, if you went on an excursion and you really loved it, or you're looking forward to being on one, please put that in the chat too. So Missy, tell us a little bit about people's options this year to stay.
So there are many options to stay, and everything is on campus. Everything is housed on campus. You don't have to go off campus for lodging or anything. And that's such a blessing. There's even a campground on campus with a bathhouse. So you can tent camp, an RV camp. There's electricity and water available, and the bathhouse is down by the lake in the swimming pool. So you can use a tent or an RV. And then the next option would be Memorial Hall. And it is an older building, pine wood floors and the pine wood shiplap on the wall and all that kind of stuff. And those have twin beds in them. There's 2 to a room, and it has a Jack and Jill bathroom, kind of like if you were in college or if you were in dorms or whatever, that you would share a bathroom. But there's 2 people to a room there. So there's an option for that. The next option would be Founders South, which is actually a motel on campus that was renovated. They have 2 queen beds, and in that built room, and you pull right up to your door. There are 2 queen beds. There's technology ports by the bed, and it's a walk-in shower. So you have that option.
Those rooms are like an old-fashioned motel, but it's
Right.
innovative. But I mean, you can only get, 2 people per bed. And
Right.
there's really no more room other
Right.
than that. Whereas the other 2 that you're about to list, they're bigger and you could probably bring in an air mattress.
Right. And so the next option would be Founders North. And you can actually, there's plenty of room for 4 people to share a room there in Founders North. And there's 2 queen beds in there. And there are, with the showers and everything with it. But there's plenty of room in there to have 4 to a room. And then the next one up would be, it's called the Lodge. They're all right beside each other, within walking distance, about 400 or 500 yards. And you can get in that one. And if you're bringing a group and you're like, you know what, we don't mind, I'm bringing an air mattress, we're going to sleep on the floor, you can get 5 people in that room, have plenty of room, and to be in there and to be comfortable and have enough room, to share and to save cost. And so the rooms are based on, Memorial is $31 per night for your room. And then
Per bed per night, right?
Per bed, right, per night.
And so this
then,
way, if you're single by yourself and you don't know anybody, and we can put you in there, and you may end up with somebody you don't know, or at the same time, you can have a friend, or you may not get rented, the other bed may not get sold, and you're by yourself.
Right. And if you are looking to have a roommate, I keep a list of people that say, hey, I'd like to room with somebody. And they've given me stuff like, I need somebody that doesn't snore, or I don't mind a snore, or I have a CPAP machine. And I'm just going to tell you, people that have CPAP machines, if you have a CPAP machine and you want a roommate, then we do have CPAP people, and you two the CPAPs can stay together. And you're not going to bother each other if you're used to your CPAP machine. So don't worry about that. But we can hook you up, and it will be the same gender.
No pun intended. No pun intended. We can hook you up.
Female to female, men or roommates or whatever. So we can help with that as well, and try our best to match you up. What happens, you let me know. You email me, say, hey, Missy, I'm looking for a roommate. And I can say, okay, I got a list. I've got some I think that might match with you. And so what I do is I share both of your information with each other. And then I'll let y'all talk. And then you get back to me and say, hey, we think it'll work. We want a room together. And if you think it doesn't work, you say, yeah, no, I think we need to try to find somebody else. So nobody's feelings are hurt. We're all just trying to help each other out. But we will get you a roommate the best we can if we got enough people. So we'll help you to get here any way we can.
Right. And so because of the different pricing structures and everything, it's better just to go to the website and look at the different things.
Yes.
We could spend 20 minutes going through option A, B, all the way to Z.
Right.
Because depending on how many people you put in a room and how many nights you stay, and if you go to the leaders portion, it's all going to change. But we make it's extremely affordable.
Yes.
We pay all of our bills out of the registration fee. The other expenses are definitely the facility. And so we really do think of everyone in that. So in our final minutes together, I wanted to talk a little bit about the prayer experience. If for a lot of people, when I've asked them, we put them on the evaluations, we've said to them, what was your favorite part? And a lot of people said the prayer experience, and every year it's different. And it is, we have different stations, and sometimes it's outdoors, sometimes it's partially indoors. Sometimes it's, there's big stations, sometimes the stations for individuals, sometimes you'll have to do a craft, sometimes you might have to throw something. I think we had people doing, slingshots at Goliath last year. We had a foot washing station. But we try to change it every year because we want you to not expect it. We want you to have a new experience with the Lord every time. So because it's so popular, we decided to move it to Sunday night, allowing you a little bit more time. And then you're going to come back and be able to share about it if you feel led to. In the past, we had it on Sunday morning, and then you went right into lunch, and it really didn't give you a chance to process what God was speaking to you about. And we have had people completely have life-changing experiences. So just in general, Missy, how has the Labor Day retreat? I mean, I know we work our butts off, right? We work so hard. We're like, oh, we're just spinning because of that, but we wouldn't do it if we didn't love it. And we wouldn't do it if we didn't see lives change. So Missy, closing out kind of your part before I share a little bit of the word, how has it changed your life? What has it really meant to you? And we would love people to put in the chat the same thing. How has a Labor Day retreat changed your life?
Well, it has definitely enhanced my life. And, you know, you realize by coming, you know, some of you are going to come and you're going to say, you know what, I've never been to anything like this, didn't know there was an option for this, or there's nothing around me, I have no way or time. I would have to drive 4 hours to have fellowship with other singles. And here's your opportunity to come and be together for 4 days with people that love the Lord and from all over the United States that comes.
Like
And
14 states, I think last year we had
yeah,
1,400 from 14 states. Is crazy.
yeah. And so you're going to get to be able to have fellowship. You're going to be able to grow in your relationship with the Lord. You just come expecting God to show up because he will. And so you realize you understand so much more how God has created us to be relational beings and that we're made for community. And we are a community. We are our church group to ourselves, you know. And so there are other singles out there and they're doing life and they're doing it well. We don't always get it right, but we're doing it because the Lord's with us, you know. And in fact, I'll share that. I told Kris last night, you know, there's times where we have so many things that happen to our lives and things that hit us and we go, oh my gosh, if only I had a spouse, then blah, 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 you know. But we're not always guaranteed that if we do have one, that they're going to be there to do or help or whatever. We just don't know the situation. But, you know, you might be alone, you know, but we're never lonely. Yeah. Because the Lord's always with us. Holy Spirit's there, and he says he's there to help us and to comfort us and to be a helper to us and to do all those things. So, you know, I have built relationships with people that are friends that I stay in touch with them all year long. And we look forward to seeing each other again, you know, at the retreat. Yeah. But relationships that have turned into such sweet, enduring friendships that all I have to do is pick up the phone and call somebody and they're going to be there. They're going to do and help. And that's what we're doing as singles, that we're being community to each other. We're being servants and we're loving on each other in Christ.
Yep. You know, people, I recently, I had somebody say to me, gosh, you know, if Labor Day is so much work and you have to build this team and there's so many details and you don't ever make any money from it, why do you keep doing it? Because it's not about the money. I mean, there are times it does need. I mean, you know, you have to have a brain in your head. God gives you wisdom, and if you're doing something and you're going negative every week, and you're out giving what God's given you, then yeah, that's dumb. But it's not about making a huge profit, and you know, it is literally about lives changing. Mm-hmm. Every one of our volunteers, they serve out of their heart. They're not being paid. And they serve because they love Jesus and they love each other and they love those that are coming. And we've had story after story after story where people have said, I came to this thing so alone, and like within seconds, I was not alone. Yeah. You know, that I immediately felt God was there comforting me. I remember one lady said to me, she'd come in late and she was stressed out and frantic, and she came running in we were all worshiping and singing, had her hands, you know, we're like, you know, worshiping. And she just said, I wanted to leave. There was nowhere to sit. It was so crowded. And one of the guys, one of the single leaders, he's not, I mean, he's a pastor, but he's not a leader in our group, got up and gave her his chair. And she said, you have no idea that one gesture made it to where she stayed. Mm-hmm. We've heard stories where people have literally been on the brink of giving up, and they came to Labor Day and it changed. We've had people come heavy burdened with sin and lack of forgiveness and anger because they don't like being single, and it changes. Because here's the cool thing about Labor Day. We build these relationships, but they keep going year round, don't they, Missy?
Yes.
We've had people connect on cruises. We've had people connect on retreats. We've had people call each other and meet each other and do other things together. It doesn't stop with Labor Day. Labor Day is just the place we come together.
Right.
Right. Again, single alone versus single together. We're single together. And then from there, God continues to grow those relationships.
Right.
And so that's why Labor Day is so important. And because singles lead it, with the exception of Freddie, who was single till he was 40s.
Right.
He can't get away from us. He can't. And then Carrie and Larry, who are, you know, but they were single and they got married within the singles ministry. We're not opposed to married people being a part of our retreat, but we are opposed when they don't have a heart for singles. Mm-hmm. And so we love it that the entire team are made up of people with every kind of singles background. Mm-hmm. And we designed this with you in mind. So I want to finish up with a little short message. I know we're running over a couple minutes, but hopefully you'll bear with me. Thank you so much, Missy.
Thank you.
It's
Bye,
so
Cal.
good to see you, my friend. And I want to tell you, that's who you're going to talk to when you call. That's the chick. And she will help you figure everything out. Do not get stressed out. Do not get panicked. This woman has got patience. Me, I'd be like, whatever. You know, and it's like, well, I'll get you a ride. I'll get a ride from the airport. I'll tell you how to get there. I'll hold your hand here. I'll hold your hand there. I mean, there's no way you can say no when Missy helps you. So take advantage of that. Thanks so much, Missy.
Thank y'all. And I hope everybody has a marvelous Monday.
Bye, darling. So let me go ahead and finish out this time together. And I titled the message, Don't Be Single Alone, Be Single Together. And the reality is that we need each other, not just once a year at a retreat, but every day. I shared with Missy and I shared with a couple other friends that I recently lost two dear friends. They were both instrumental in my life. They were both singles. Both of them were single. One was single through divorce. One was single through widow. And they both were pastors, both very strong leaders, and both very supportive of me and the work that I do. And it's been really hard the last few days experiencing those losses and just trying to figure out, what the Lord is saying to me. And I remember just thinking to myself, wow, what are their families going through? What the fact that they don't have a spouse, like who knows who they set up an appointment with this week for coffee, and who do they know who is waiting to hear from them to maybe come and speak at their church, and who knows what their password is to Facebook, and how do they get into their checking accounts to help sort out their funeral expenses. And my mind just kept going over and over, and I'm thinking about all these things, and as a single adult that I don't like about being single. And I said, Lord, what would if something happened to me? And I wouldn't want all this burden on my mother. And I just became kind of a little emotional and overwhelmed. And then I called Missy and we talked, and I realized that I do have people. I do have people that I can contact. I do have people that I can say, hey, would you help me plan this? Because nobody plans to die, really. I mean, as a Christian, are we planning that? We may plan the unexpected. We may die without not expecting it, I'm saying, or you might have an illness that may be leading that towards that direction. But in general, both of these people who died, it was not planned. It was unexpected. And I think about my own life as a single adult. Am I ready? Do I have my affairs in order? I do have a will. I do have a power of attorney. I do have some financial things that I've taken care of. And I do have a board. But I was looking at even the simplest thing of what happens to your Facebook page, and what would do they really know what you would want at your funeral? And would they really know what you'd want to do, get rid of your knickknacks and things? And so this is why we do this retreat. This is why I do singles ministry. This is why I keep doing what I do in the way that I do it, because I want us to build relationships, because not all of us have spouses that are going to be there to handle these details. And even if you did, there's no guarantee they could do it all. And not all of us have close family that we trust. But the Lord, in his dying breath on the cross, he turned to John and he asked John to take care of his widowed mother. And then he asked his widowed mother to take care of John, who was not his sibling, because Jesus valued friends. Come to Labor Day. Come to Labor Day where you're going to build friends. And there are going to be people there that'll listen and that'll laugh with you and joke with you and cry with you, because we need that community. COVID has stripped us from that. The enemy has done his best to divide us and to make us by ourselves, and we're not going to let him. So even if events get canceled and webinars, and you can't go to that cookout or whatever, you can still communicate. You can still talk to each other, and you can still be single together. God gave me this verse, and that maybe will encourage you. This is in Hebrews 10:24-25. It says, and let us consider how to stir up one another to love. Think about that. let us consider, let's ponder, let's think about it, let's pray about it. How do we stir one another up? How do you encourage someone? Stirring is like you're mixing it up. You're kind of giving a froth on the top. You're kind of like stirring up what's there, all the sediment, all the things like a cup of coffee when you put creamer in. You wouldn't want to drink it like that. You want to wait till it's stirred up. And so sometimes stirring up like in a stew tastes better, right? So stirring and mixing and pushing and pulling and gathering all of us another to love. How do we do that? How do we help each other to love? It says to love in good works. Not only to love each other, but then what do we do as a result of this love from God, of salvation from God? Do you know if you're saved? Do you know that you that are watching this, that if you died right now, do you know you would go to heaven? If not, I tell you right now, all you have to do is say, I believe that Jesus is the Son of God. I believe that Jesus died for my sins on the cross, and I need him to save me. I ask you right now to come into my heart and let you lead me. That's it. That's a simple. Don't let the enemy make it complicated. Don't go, well, I got to go do this and I got to go do that. No, because when your time comes, you can't do any of those things. It says, let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, because then the relationship, out of that love comes a desire to serve. Out of that love comes a desire to help the Lord, help the kingdom, to grow the kingdom. That's what comes as a result. But sometimes we do need encouragement. Sometimes we do need support. Sometimes we do need prayer. And sometimes we need things like a retreat, a singles ministry, a Bible study, serving at church to remind us of this. And then it says, not neglecting to meet together. Get out of your sweatpants, people, and get your heinies to church. I love it. I was at church this morning. It was so powerful to be around other believers, even though we don't, we're all kind of trickling back and trying to figure it out. But it was so wonderful to go and be around each other. The enemy knows that you have no power when you're by yourself. He knows how to get you by yourself and have pity parties. And I'm not going to go to that retreat. It's too far. I don't want to drive, or it costs this, or it's people I don't know. Wine. But yet you want to meet people. Yet you want friends and even romance. Well, you can't sit at home and wait for the FedEx man or the FedEx girl to show up. You have to get your PJs off, get dressed, and get out there and come to the retreat. The rest of the verse says, as in the habit of some, and well, I'd say in the habit of many, right? We're just kind of like being at home, staying at home, but encouraging one another. Encouraging one another. Don't you need encouragement? I need encouragement. I need to be affirmed that what I'm doing and the work God's called me to do is what he wants me to do. Do you need that? Because life can really pull your joy. It tries. But Christ gave me joy, and that joy can't be taken from me. But my circumstances can definitely be affected. So that's why we need encouragement. It says, and in all the more as you see the day drawing near. We're not guaranteed another minute. I don't want anyone to perish. So do me a favor. Make a decision to accept Christ. And for those that have a relationship with the Lord, make a decision that you want to do something different. Make a decision that you want to share your faith. Make a decision to get out of your PJs and get back in church and get involved in church again and serve the Lord, because it'll change your life. It'll make it so much better. You'll stop thinking a poor, pitiful, and you will say, Lord, oh my gosh, Isaiah 6:8, send me. And then you know what? Go to LaborDaySingles.org. LaborDaySingles.org. Look at the website. Look at all that's there. Call Missy if you need to. But go. Come and stop being single alone, and let's be single together. Thanks everybody for joining us today. Sorry, went on a little bit longer, but I pray you have a great rest of your day. And please don't hesitate to email us, call us. We'd love to help you. Also, as I put in the chat, I have a lot of other websites. Please check it out if you would. Kris Swiatocho Ministries is a nonprofit. We'd love to have your support. Also, the Singles Network, which is like a Wikipedia for how to do singles ministry. And then my newest, intentionalrelationshipsolutions.org, which is the newest Bible study on how to have healthy relationships. So till next time, everybody, I'm Kris Swiatocho. Thanks. Bye.